Sumika.
There is an old optical illusion that consists of a black and white picture that, depending on how you look at it, reveals either a young girl or an old woman. Both are, of course, on the page at all times, and what you see then has little to do with what is actually there, and everything to do with where and how you focus your eyes. I saw that illusion for the first time in a psychology textbook in college, under a chapter entitled Perception. And since then, I've come upon that particular example on several occasions in various books and magazines. Years ago in New York, I came across what I consider to be a human incarnation of that optical illusion. Her name was Sumika. She was a young art student newly arrived from Japan and was to be my roommate at NYU for the summer. I remember thinking that something about her eyes, maybe not her eyes per se, but a look on them, reminded me of James Baldwin, if it is possible to transpose James Baldwin's eyes onto those of a young Japanese girl. She had beautiful, slightly bulging eyes and long black hair, and to the undiscerning eye, she was brimming with life. She loved photography and painting, tango and the Romance languages. She was also an amazing cook. I was having a difficult summer, a long commute to work, a friend in the hospital, and on more than one occasion, I came home to a lavish spread. Her garlic bread, each thick slice prepared with almost half a clove of garlic, was particularly comforting. That my new roommate was anything but a typical transfer student was clear to me from the very beginning. She donned an air of mystery. It wasn't anything she said in particular, except for her government conspiracy theories, and everyone is entitled to at least one gratuitous eccentricity in New York. Most things that came out of her mouth were quite plausible. No, it wasn't in what she said, but rather in what she didn't. In the way she avoided direct addresses, in the way she tossed off my questions gently, like balls of origami. Despite her lack of fluency in English, she had only been in the US for a few months, she was a gifted conversationalist. Like a master horseback rider, she knew exactly when to tighten, when to loosen. Without exception, all the men that came to visit us were mesmerized by Sumika. One of those men was my brother, and it was in him that she confided what an old Japanese fortune teller had predicted long ago, that any man who loved her and whom she loved back was fated to die prematurely. And to the fortune teller's credit, Sumika's father had died of a sudden heart attack, her childhood love and 20-year-old boyfriend of 8 years in a car accident. I trembled for the middle-aged Italian sailor whom she met while taking pictures at the seaport that summer. Sometimes all it takes is one experience to shake our skepticism. Looking at Sumika, I knew I was looking at an old soul, and it was the reflection of this old soul onto the body of a 20-something-year-old girl that produced the optical illusion, either an old woman or a young girl, depending on how you focus your eyes. I could not shake the feeling that I was looking at more than one life encapsulated inside the body of this young art student. I know little about the occult, about auras. These things defy my secular scientific upbringing. And yet now, when I overhear someone speak of an old soul, I no longer assume the expression is being used as a metaphor.